All right. I believe we are live.
Yes, we are. How are you, Chloe? How's
I'm
everybody
really
doing?
well, thank you, Orlando. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. Well,
Excellent stuff.
like I told you earlier, a little bit under the weather, but nevertheless, we are here.
We are here. It's not keeping you away from the markets. And
Exactly.
as for myself, I am not under the weather, but finding it harder and harder to talk. So
So
apologies to
why
everyone.
don't yes, why don't I start things off, Chloe?
Why don't you? Yes, and I'll catch my
All
breath.
right.
You go.
Just give me. Can you give me powers
I've got to give you
to
powers,
show my
haven't
screen?
I?
Yeah.
There we go. That should be it.
All right. I have quite a few things to talk about. Quite a few things that I was waiting for that did not pan out, which is completely fine, right? Um, uh, but let's start by looking at again, just quickly look at U.S. equities. They are completely crashing today. Um, and right here, well, I took, we were talking about taking that long on the S&P 500 or on the Dow. I don't remember, and I took it here. Actually, of course, that I took half of my position, or even more of my position off here, during the tonight, I got taken out on a profit on this massive sell-off again. And just by looking at how big, I mean, how massive this move is, this looks like a continuation to the downside. I don't know if this level is going to be holding, but I won't definitely, I won't be looking to buy U.S. equities today at all. At all, this looks very bearish to me. Just look at the Nasdaq again, breaking the Nasdaq breaking with that level that it bounced from last week. And well, I wish all bulls the best. In my opinion, this is going to be a red day in U.S. equities. Just that was just to get a little head start on the show. And another thing that I just noticed is that the DXY is breaking. Let me just get rid of some of these lines because it looks a little bit cluttered. My chart looks a little bit cluttered. So let's go to the 4 hour chart, and the DXY is breaking with what seems to be a reversal pattern at the bottom of the big um, berry structure. I'm sorry. So we could be, in fact, going to retest the 94 level again, which, in my opinion, is going to be the next level to look for shorts in the US dollar. But for the time being, this looks like a continuation rally at the breakout of this of the current structure, the blue one right here. Now, I'm just saying all of this because I'm going to go to what I was looking for and didn't pan out. uh, right here, the I was looking at the pound and some pound pairs. Let's start by looking at the pound versus the Japanese yen. All right. Don't mind these lines. Actually, we're gonna get rid of them. These are just previous daily highs and previous weekly highs. So I was looking at the yesterday. I was looking at the pound versus the Japanese yen for a buy opportunity right here at this level. Okay, I didn't take it because there was absolutely no setup for me to take it. Right. Plus, it was Labor Day in the United States, and there was no volume being traded during New York. But the pound is completely crashing all over the board. I mean, this is a from high to low. This is a 166 pip move to the downside, right? Of course, that this is no longer valid. This channel that I had on my chart is no longer valid. But right now, the yen is retesting a pretty big level, in my opinion, the 134 138.50. So I'm going to see if we get somewhat a rejection or a reaction to this level to go again, to try to find a long position here. But as it is right now, I see no trade, right? I'm just looking at levels. Actually, I haven't taken a trade this week just yet. Actually, I took one, but I will show you the one that I took. It was on the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar short that I closed for a very small loss. But because of the US dollar rally, right? But I don't know what you think about the pound just crashing all over the place. Look at all the pound pairs. This is the other one that I had my eyes on, was the again, let me get rid of this because it's no longer valid. The pound versus the Swiss franc, and the pound versus the Swiss franc is not a currency pair that I trade that often. Actually, I don't trade it at all. But I was looking at the breakout and the retest right here of these highs, which looked like somewhat a good buy opportunity for a nice what 160 pip move to the upside. But again, the pound crashing all over the place. This was again a 123 pip move to the downside. Now it's retesting the rising structure, but I don't trade retests on trend lines. Not my thing. If it's not in confluence with a key level, that I mean I will not take it. But that's another scenario for me that didn't pan out. And just to, I'm just showing you this because I think it's important to realize that if you jump in on the trades without your setup to be fully developed, you are going to get burned sometimes, right? That's just like I always say. Once I'm not the first one on the trade, but I certainly am the least burned on them. Then again, on I was looking also at this level on the pound versus the US dollar, the one 3060, which again broke. And right now, I see absolutely no level on the pound versus the US dollar. Maybe the 130 level, right here. The 130 should, the 130 should get, actually, yes, the 130 should get some reaction. But it's not a buy zone. It's not a buy zone. And because it's a round number, I don't know if you can hear me, Chloe.
Yeah, I've got you, Orlando.
Okay, I just got a message on my other screen that my connection was unstable. But if if during the show, I just go off, please send me a message because I won't
Okay, I will
realize.
do.
I just won't realize, and
Talking to self.
I'll keep talking to myself. So I was saying right here, the 130 level on the pound versus the US dollar uh, has been a big level of support in historic price action, right? And this is where buyers load up to ride the pound versus the US dollar for about what was it? Let's have a look. 474 pips, right? So we are definitely going to have some kind of a reaction right here at this level. But to me, it's not a buy zone. I'm just looking to see what's going to happen here. But I definitely don't have anything going on the pound. I know it sounds counterintuitive that I'm saying this and I'm showing you this on a trading show, but it's the truth that I don't have anything going on the pound, but I do want to see the reaction on the 130 level because that might give me this is the I had this short on the dollar, Canadian dollar, right here, closed it on because it's so strong. And the thing is that I don't think I haven't looked at U.S. I'm sorry, at crude oil, so I don't know if this is crude oil related or US dollar related or both, right? And yeah, I mean, yes, actually, crude oil is crashing at the moment. Just have a look at this. Um, Actually, I was talking about this exact level on Brent the other day, the 4150. I don't know if it was here on the show, but I think it was here on the show that because of how Brent had been trading for the past a couple of months in the super choppy um, range, I was looking for that breakout. And if you look at US oil chart, this is the 2 week chart. It looks extremely bearish, right? This is a
Certainly
super
does.
engulfing candle. It has engulfed the previous 12 weeks, almost engulfing the previous 12 weeks. So yeah, I'm looking to get short on the US on WTI. Well, when my favorite or my preferred product to trade when trading crude oil is Brent. Definitely, it's so less speculative, right? But right here, I would need definitely a retest of that broken level for a some kind of a pattern to form for me to short position. Because right now, to me, that move is just gone. And I wasn't going to trade the breakout with a sell stop below the lows just because of how strong this level has been in the past, right? And because the risk versus reward, yes, it was defined, but when trading breakouts with sell stops just below levels like this, with not a real pullback, um, normally, and that is in my personal experience, I get stopped out on a fake out, and then the move continues. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be waiting for a that level to get retested, and I'm definitely going to put on an alert, because if not, I'm going to forget about that shorts.
Good plan. Yes.
All right. Yes, exactly. I mean,
There's nothing worse than
literally,
planning a trade and then forgetting about it.
yeah, definitely. That's the worst. Or I mean, or just being unable to trade it because you're having breakfast or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Looks good, right? I mean,
it does. Definitely does.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, that structure, it took a long time for that reversal to develop. But in my opinion, it has developed. Uh, of course, everybody is a hero in hindsight, right? And this would have been the clear short in Brent, but again, we can't trade in the past, so we might as well try to get that last bit of a short here. And of course, that I mean, now that I just see this, this is why this is one of the reasons the US dollar Canadian dollar is rallying, right? I mean, because oh shit, I just saw that
I wonder whether Orlando has forgotten to plug his laptop in again. That's usually what happens when we lose him. So I don't know whether he'll be back, whether he'll get it plugged in time, but in the meantime, I'm just going to grab the screen, apologies for that, and share with you a couple of things that I am looking at. Now, obviously, things have changed quite significantly from the position that I was in last week. So a couple of the things that I was looking at, and those of you who were tuned into the show on Sunday as well will know, I was still looking at the US indices with a bit of a bullish frame of mind, because The level, yes, we did see huge pullbacks, huge downwards moves, but the level that price has come to is actually a previous high level, and we did get that low test bar. So there was the potential, it's still higher highs and higher lows. There was the potential for price to continue. In fact, there still is the potential for price to continue, but increasingly it's looking pretty bearish. And as Orlando was pointing out, it's this area here really where we're seeing a reversal pattern forming. And if that area is taken out, then I'll certainly be bearish, at least on the lower timeframes, at least for now, not necessarily in the very, very long term, because that long-term price action is yet to form. But certainly for people trading lower timeframes, hourly time frame, 30-minute time frame, anything like that, there are bound to be opportunities to the downside. So that has changed significantly for me over the last day or so. So yesterday we had a low test bar, which was perfect, that low test bar, because it tested these all-time highs, the previous all-time highs on the S&P from back in February. That is a really, really nice buy zone. And the fact that we got a low test bar, that could have been the start of another move to the upside. The fact that we've now seen a bearish, what could end up being a bearish engulfing bar here, is definitely a bearish sign. And basically exactly as Orlando pointed out, this is looking definitely bearish for now. So if I find any short opportunities, then I will be happy to take those. I'm not seeing anything to my liking right now, but I've definitely got or become a little bit more open-minded about the direction on these US indices. The other thing that I wanted to point out, and welcome back, Orlando. Sorry you got cut off.
Yes, I forgot to plug in my computer again.
I knew it was that. Do you know how I knew it was that? It was because I heard the exclamation just before you cut off. And
No
I heard
way,
you
you
say,
heard that? I'm
oh,
so sorry.
So I knew it was the battery.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I
No
didn't
worries,
know that
no
you.
worries.
Oh my God. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the other thing that I wanted to point out is I have been resolutely bullish on the Aussie pairs. And again, looks like things are turning around potentially. Aussie yen had a really nice low test bar here that was bouncing not quite at my horizontal level, but not far off. I actually still have a long order in the market. This could still go upwards. I still have that long order in. However, I'm remaining open-minded, and if price comes down much further, then I'll be removing that order from the market anyway, and becoming less bullish on the Aussie pairs. Aussie dollar, that clearly as well is heading downwards for today. I've got a few positions open here. They're all in profit at the moment, so I'm not too worried about them. The stop losses are trailed adequately and things like that. But again, it's certainly not something that I'm looking for long opportunities on the intraday timeframes, because they're just not there. The price is heading downwards at the moment. The couple of things that I do find still a little bit interesting. Kiwi dollar on the daily time frame. Now I use monthly pivot a lot for my trading, and the fact that here on Kiwi dollar, yes, we do have an uptrend, but what interests me is what is going to happen with price now that it is right at the monthly pivot. One of two things: it could bounce and go long, or it could break and go short. At the moment, it looks like it's breaking. I don't want that to end up being a false break. So I do have to wait for confirmation. Exactly as you were talking about, Orlando, I won't just place a sell stop and hope that price is going to go down. What I would much prefer to see is an actual move to the downside, some trading beneath the monthly pivot, and then a retracement, a retest of that. There was a really nice example I might pick out later on Euro GBP, but for now, On Kiwi dollar, I could look for long positions here. I could look for short positions here. Either way, my feeling is short, to be honest with you.
I'm actually short the Kiwi dollar.
Yeah, I like it, Orlando. And basically, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the right price action for me beneath this monthly pivot. And let me just demonstrate what I'm ideally looking for. I want to see price come down beneath the monthly pivot. I want to see some air between price and the monthly pivot. Then I want to see price come back, retest, and then I'll be looking for that short move. So that's what I'm looking for on Kiwi dollar. And then whether I get that or not, who knows, because it looks like price could potentially move quite fast. Now it's beneath there, but I have to stick to my strategy. I won't just jump in just because I can see it heading downwards. The other thing that I wanted to look at was Kiwi yen, because a similar thing could potentially happen. Now, Kiwi yen has hit its head against this level several times now. Yes, it did edge up, but this is a pretty strong level here. We've got support from back in 2019 over here, support from the end of 2019, and then it's been resistance all the way through this year. And price has moved down. We are approaching the monthly pivot. Perhaps we'll see a bounce, perhaps we'll see a break, but this is another area that I'm really interested in, and it'll probably be, if I see a bounce here, then it'll be a daily time frame trade, but I'm not particularly keen on trading up to this level. If that level were to break, then definitely I'd be looking for longs. But at the moment, all I'm doing is keeping an eye on the monthly pivot. We can set an alert if, those of you listening, if you want to set an alert at the monthly pivot, just like Orlando just did on his, so that you don't forget that this is a currency pair that is approaching what will be a first bounce of the monthly pivot for this month. And then it's just going to be a case of looking to see how price reacts. Is it going to bounce? In which case there could be some long opportunity. We do have a little bit of a level here of resistance that price could bounce that coincides with this monthly pivot. Alternatively, is it going to break? In which case we've got a decent rundown that we could take advantage of on whichever time frame the strategy sets up on. So I'll be looking for again the same kind of price action. I'm looking for price to break down below here, come back up, retest, and then I'll take the short from the retest. So that's another thing that I'm looking out for. I just wanted to show you an example before I hand back to Orlando. It was on Euro GBP. We had this exact same thing happen. So that is the price action that I would like to see. That run up to the monthly pivot there. And then we saw a clean break. We've got air, we've got space between price and the monthly pivot.
Yeah.
Price has moved away and then come back down to retest. Clear bullish price action here, and then off it goes. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking out for all the time when I'm looking for a pivot trading, basically.
That is good.
Yeah, really good. Really nice example there. Perfect bullish price action. So yes, if I see something like that on any of these Kiwi pairs, then I would be very happy indeed. That's pretty much all I was going to cover today. It's going to be a little bit of an unusual week for me, because I usually just exclusively trade with a trend. I find a really obvious trend like this on Aussie dollar, and I just trade in that direction. And it seems to me that this week might be the week where things start to change. We saw towards the end of last week the big losses on the US indices, which seems to have got the ball rolling. And the other thing I wanted to say, Orlando, about your pound trades was perhaps that is to do with the fact that it is pretty much all doom and gloom in the UK at the moment. We have got the the beginnings of an exponential growth in our coronavirus cases again, which is not surprising. I'm surprised it hasn't started sooner, quite frankly. And we also are getting increasingly stressed and worried about Brexit.
Yes, I haven't. I mean, I've heard about that, Chloe, but I haven't heard any specifics about it. I haven't done the research yet, but I mean, now that I have you in, here in the show, can you tell us a little bit about that, please, about the Brexit? Uh, uh,
I am actually probably the worst person to tell you about it because I'm very biased. I
okay, no,
I,
go
I
ahead
have
with your bias. I'll filter it out.
I have let's just say Boris Johnson is not and never would be a friend of mine.
Neither of mine.
But it is, from what I gather, it's looking increasingly unlikely that we are actually going to get a deal struck with the EU at the moment. There's a
Okay,
lot
I
of talk
see.
about no deal going to be happening. There's been talk about some of the, what do you call them? Some of the things that were potentially promised. There is talk about Boris Johnson going back on those promises for certain things, a border in Ireland and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Hold on. He's going back on the border on the Ireland border thing, because that the Northern Ireland needs some kind of a deal with the UK because I mean their products, their EU products have to go through the UK to get to Northern Ireland because they have no front. No, it's not a frontier. What's the name of the
border,
thing that? Yeah, they have no border with the EU, right?
right? So
So
there is,
if they're going back on that, the EU is not going to strike a deal anytime soon, because as the last time that I read about it, was a long time ago, but I mean that seemed like something that needed to happen in order for the EU to strike a deal with the UK.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, who knows? It could be speculation that those promises
Hmm.
are being wiped on the floor, but I think just the talk about it is probably not doing the currency any good, not doing the economy any good, not doing
Yeah,
the negotiations any good.
yeah, I agree.
And there are a lot of other things that the UK and the EU have been unable to agree on thus far, and we only have a few weeks left of these so-called negotiations.
Yeah, when
Uh,
was the date
and
actually?
I think it's the end of October.
Yeah,
I think
something
it's
like
the
that.
end of October, so it's
I
not
mean, if
far
they
at
don't
all.
strike, if they don't strike a deal by the end of October, the pound is going to really start crashing.
Yes, unless it gets priced in beforehand, if it starts
Yeah,
looking
exactly.
unlikely that there will be a deal, it could
Which it seems that is what's going on at the
happening
moment,
now.
right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is looking pretty much like doom and gloom. I think there are more things coming to light that are potentially going to be disastrous that just weren't thought about at the time that the powers that be had this genius idea of Brexit, and they just didn't think
Mm,
it through, and now they're having to
yeah,
think it through. It's like, well, we can't manage, we can't do a deal on this because we can't agree on anything. And anyway,
yeah. Don't get sad
who
about it.
knows? What we do know is there's no going back. We are out of the EU, and by the end of October, we will be out of the free trade agreement, and something else will
Yeah,
have to
with a
happen
deal or
instead.
without a deal, right?
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I just think that the talk of that has become more over the last week or so, which is probably why, or one of the reasons why those pound pairs are are looking so bearish for the most part.
Yes, I agree with you.
So yeah, I absolutely agree with your directional bias on that, Orlando. And again, it's just a case of waiting for the right time to get in on something like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, but it looks like we have missed the train. And what I don't know if you have looked at the euro versus the US dollar, but just to finish things up because we are running out of time. It is the only major that hasn't like followed the US dollar move. It's still
Yeah.
contained in a very rangy pattern at the top of
Mm-hmm.
that move, but still rejecting that monthly trend line and a big zone to the upside. To be completely honest, and I'm just waiting for that breakout to get short on that one.
Yes.
Yes, just a break below the 1740 would do it for me. And right now it's looking more bearish than it was yesterday, but again, we don't know until it breaks, right?
Yeah, exactly. We just have to be patient, and if it's going to break, wait for the break and wait for the opportunity.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. Do we have Jeff in the house?
I don't believe he is in, actually. Perhaps he's not in
No,
today,
he's
mate. I
not in.
think Tuesday is his day off. So
Ah,
we'll
okay,
probably
yeah.
speak to him tomorrow.
Might be only
Uh,
Ash. That's right.
yeah, yeah. So Ash will be up in 12 minutes time, I think, for the preview to the US session. So stick around, folks, to listen to him. And in the meantime, I'll say goodbye to you, Orlando, and we will speak again tomorrow.
Yes. Goodbye, Chloe. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. Speak soon.
Bye.